Hello gorgeous, welcome back to Life in Style. Today's video is going to be my weekly plan with me. This is part 2 in the Game of Thrones 6-part series. It is Sunday night, almost 11 o'clock. I watched the show. I am so pumped up. I am not even tired, but I already had told myself I am going to film right after the show because after I filmed this, which is Sunday, a week after the first episode, I'm just going to be uploading last week's plan with me because I just, kind of time constraints and that sort of thing. And I don't want to be doing it so late. So I'm hoping that this should go up, if not tomorrow, definitely by Tuesday. And then I'll be presently planning the week we're in. So I just wanted to show you the cover of my Erin Condren. This cover is from the Stylish Planner, and I think I've shown it before. I definitely wanted this for this month because this is the final 6 episodes of Game of Thrones. When you see the other video go up, you'll notice that I was planning in my B6. It's a little different for me planning in a B6 on camera, so I'm going to go back to my Erin Condren, which is much easier for me, and I think the flow is a lot better, and you'll probably see the difference. All right, so let me just open this up. So we are in April, and there's my monthly. I always show that because I love it. So let's see, we are now... Yes, so we are going to be planning the week of the 22nd to the 28th. So I am going to go ahead and white all of this out before we start. I'm going to do that off camera and come back, and then we can go ahead and get started. So everything has been whited out, and let me show you the kit that I'm going to be using this week. I am going to zoom you in so you can see the kit better, which is absolutely beautiful. It is by Cinderella Paper, and it is a Game of Thrones kit. So here you have your full boxes, and then this one, is it? Yeah, it's 2 full boxes, but it makes one, long scene there with Daenerys. And then you have your Heart Ombre checklist boxes. You have all of your headers, some quarter boxes, and some quarter appointment labels there. You have all of your little things. I love the coloring of this as well. And then some more quarter boxes there at the bottom. These, I'm sure there are other kits that have them. This is the first time I've ever personally have seen these, but these are really cool for daily use. So you have your breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. So if you're really into watching what you eat, or even just prepping for the week, these are really good. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to get a lot of use out of them in this spread. I may in the future, but not sure. But I think this is a really nice idea. Then you have daily hydrate trackers, which I think again is a really, really good idea. Then you have these little things that are fitness based. You have dumbbells and then like your steps there, which again I think is really, really cool idea. I've seen these before, and I think that's really nice to kind of keep track of your fluid intake. Then you have 2 sidebar weeklies, 2 bill dues, 2 habit trackers, 4 little flags down here. You have a ton of functional icons there. You have heart checklist flags, your weekend banner, and 2 other flags here. Here you have your date dots, your date covers, and then some half boxes which are rounded off. Then you have your washi page. Here's your bottom washi, which is very, very cool. Oops, sorry. Which I really do like a lot. And then you have your washi strips here with different scenes from the show. So that is going to be the kit. I have brought in a few other things, actually a lot of other things, to just kind of zhuzh it up a bit with some foil and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about tonight's episode. I really should get the names of them and then like say this is the episode name. Like last week's when I went online or on the TV to watch, it was called Winterfell, and rightly so. All right, so I'm going to need these 2 pages, so let's go ahead and start with the date covers. They've just done such a freaking amazing job with the episode flowed right. Let me start with that kind of a generic or a general overview. It's just amazing. Nothing felt out of place. Everything was perfect. Even the light banter between a lot of the characters, I think, was just, it's one of those things where a lot of people said, you know, in today's episode, and rightfully so, these may be the last hours of our lives, you know. So a lot of things happened after people said that. So let's start with Arya and Gendry. So the first time we see them, she goes down, you know, he's still doing the weapons and stuff, and she's like, you know, do you have my thing? He goes, when I make like, you know, I don't know, 40,000 of these or something, you know, with like the axes and stuff like that. So she says, what, you know, what are they like? What are the dead like? What are the White Walkers like? And he's like, pretty bad or something like that. And he goes, she says, that's all you can come up with is pretty bad. And he looks at her, you know, and he says, it's bad. Okay. Like, it's really bad. It's death. You want to know what it's like? It's like death. And she picks up, I guess they're supposed to be daggers, you know, dragon glass daggers. And she's like, not bad. She goes, I've seen death before. You know, and I've seen his face, and she's throwing the daggers as she's saying that and just hitting the mark. And he's like, huh? And then she's like, you know, I look forward to seeing this face. And then she says, she walks away, and she says, my weapon. He says, I'll get right on that. It was such a good scene, because he's like, wow, this chick is no joke. Because he's telling her, you know, I know you're not afraid of rapists and murderers and things like that, but this is not a fight for you. And she basically, you know, just shows him that, yes, it is. I mean, nobody really knows the extent of Arya's, oh crap, I broke this. Damn it, I was too rough with it. That's okay, we still have to use it. Let's see, do I have to push it more? And that's okay, we'll just let it. My hand was too strong there, or my fingers. So we're doing the 22nd, so let's start with that. And, you know, nobody except Bran, I'm sure, obviously. Bran knows it all. Nobody really knows what she's capable of. You know, people, I think, have an inkling like Sansa and Brienne, but I don't think anybody really knows what she's capable of. So that was kind of one of the first scenes. And then the very, very first scene was Jaime in the Great Hall, and Daenerys telling him, like, you know, my brother used to tell me bedtime stories about about the man that killed our father and what we were going to do to him when we took back the 7 kingdoms. And then the first person, is that the first person that speaks up? I think is Sansa, and she goes, I agree with you, my grace. She says, I don't trust you. And I know Tyrion speaks up at some point. I don't remember if it was before Sansa or not. But, you know, she tells him, you've destroyed my family just the way you destroyed hers and all this. And he goes, I would do it again in a heartbeat if I had to. He said, you know, I was fighting for my family, and I was protecting my family. And then Tyrion, and oh, she also says, your sister said that she was going to send soldiers. And he said, well, she lied to me too. This is Jaime telling Daenerys. And he said, she's not going to be sending, oh, the bottom wash. She's not going to be sending anybody, but, you know, something about we. And she goes, what do you mean we? And he said, I promised to fight for the living, and I'm going to do that. And then, you know, she kind of told Tyrion off a little bit, like, you know, she says, he says, I know my brother. She says, like, you knew your sister. And then, you know, then Brienne gets up and she says, you know, I know I don't know you that well, my grace. But, you know, she says, when we were together, I was once his captor. And when we were captured together, men tried to rape me, and he protected me. And she said, Lady Sansa, if not for him, you wouldn't be alive. He armed me, he armored me, and he told me to go after you and protect you as he had, you know, as he had promised your mother. So she kind of softened up, because she trusts Brienne and she loves Brienne. So she kind of looked, she says, do you trust him? And she said, yes. And she said, well, I trust you, and so, you know, he can stay. And Dany just looks at her real quick like, bitch, that's not what I said. And then she says, what does the Warden of the North say? And he says, well, we need all of the men that we can get. So she's like, oh, hell no. And so he said, okay, fine, that's fine. And then, you know, that scene stopped, and Jaime was talking to Tyrion and all that stuff. Actually, we're not going to do a to-do. See, this is what I get for yakking and yakking. I want to do 2 days. And they talked for a few minutes and stuff like that. And he's like, you know, he says, Jamie says something like, Cersei has, you know, tricked us all or fooled us all, or him, and then Tyrion, which is very true, says, she never tricked you. You always knew what she was about, and you still, you know, you loved her anyway. And he just, like, you know, basically acknowledges that because it is true. And so I've made notes here. So, and I'm kind of just jumping around a little bit. So Jamie does go to see Bran under the tree where he's always pretty much sitting, and you know, he comes up to him. The first thing he says is, I apologize for what I did to you, or I'm sorry for what I did to you. And Bran turns around and he says, you weren't sorry then. And he goes, no, you know, and then he says, why didn't you tell them what I did to you, you know, when they were in the Great Hall? Because at one point when Jamie says something about Cersei lying to him, Bran says to him, like Jamie said to him in the first episode when he pushed him off, you know, from the tower. He said, what I do for love, or something like that. And then Bran said the same thing in the Great Hall, and Jamie was like, here it is, my ass is grass. But he didn't tell. And so he said, you know, what good would you be? We need all the men we can get if I let them murder you before, because they would have killed him. They don't know who pushed Bran, and Bran never said anything. I don't remember if he didn't remember or if he just didn't say anything. And so, you know, he said, well, you know, okay, fine, thanks. You know, you didn't say anything. And he says, what about after? And he goes, how do you know there's going to be an after? And I was like, oh, hell, here we go with this shit. And then, you know, it went from that scene, and Jamie goes up to one of the towers at Winterfell, and he's talking with Tyrion, and they're just kind of, you know, talking back and forth about things. And, you know, Tyrion keeps saying, like, look at us, we're at Winterfell fighting together for the Starks. And then Jamie walks away from him, and Tyrion's still talking, and Tyrion's like, oh, what the hell? And he's looking down at, Jamie's looking down at Brienne. Brienne is in charge of the left squadron or something like that. And she says, yes, you know, that I am. And so he goes down there, he's talking to her, and all of a sudden she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean, what am I doing? She goes, well, we've never had a conversation where you weren't offending me or saying, and he goes, is that what you want me to do? And she's like, no. And he's like, good. I'm like, yay, a lover spat. Because I really do think that, well, I know that Brienne loves Jamie. Jamie doesn't love her in that way, and I think that that's pretty obvious. But all right, so what do we have here? Do we have another full box? I'm trying to see if we can. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use this here. I think that that's pretty obvious. So let me do something with the rest of it. Actually, we're going to put this. I know I'm jumping around, but I want to put this on Sunday, since Sunday is Game of Thrones. And so, you know, they're talking and stuff, and he says, you know, she's telling him her plan, and he's like, that sounds like a great plan. And she goes, what are you doing here? And he says, you know, I knew that if I came this way, you would be, basically, like, she would be there, and he wants to serve under her, you know, basically have her command him in battle if she'd have him. And she kind of just gives a little nod, and he gives a nod back. So I'm like, yes, this is fabulous. Like, I'm telling you, this episode was just so good from start to finish. So many amazing, just the characters, the way they come together. So, and kind of moving into that, at one point in the Great Hall, you know, there's the big fireplace and whatnot, and Tyrion's in there with Jamie, and they're talking. And then Brienne comes in with Podrick, and she's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just looking for a fire. And you know, Tyrion's like, oh, please join us. Would you like a drink? And Pod goes, yes. And she's like, no, the battle can start at any moment. And he kind of looks at, you know, kind of down, and she's like, half a glass, you know. And Tyrion literally overflows the glass. I was dying. I was like, go ahead, Tyrion. And so, you know, Pod sits down, and Jamie brings a chair. He's like, come join us. She's like, well, for a little bit. And then Tormund comes in, which that was just, oh my God, hilarity ensued when Tormund got there. I love that man so damn much. So he was there, and then, oh God, what's his name? Davos ended up there. So, you know, they're all kind of sitting around talking. Tormund goes into this whole spiel about how he got his last name Giantsbane, and that he was he killed a giant when he was 10 years old, and then that night he slept with his wife, and when she woke up she thought he was a baby because they were giants, and she suckled him at his teat, and that's how he got so strong with giant's milk. Dying laughing because everybody's just looking at him like, okay. And I was dying laughing, dying. And so, you know, they're talking and stuff, and you know, Tyrion said, here we all are, and this gets repeated throughout the episode. Tyrion says, here we all are. At one point or another, we were all fighting the Starks, and here we are fighting for them. And everybody, you know, was obviously in agreement, and so they're talking about all of the battles that each of them had been in, and battles that had been won, and all that kind of stuff. And Tyrion calls Brienne Sir Brienne, and he's like, sorry, Lady Brienne. And then Tormund is like, I thought she was a sir. Aren't you a knight? And she says, no, you know, it's you can't. I'm a woman. It's not proper. And he said, I forgot what she said. She says, not tradition. He said, fuck tradition. And he said, if I was a king, I would knight you 10 times over. And, you know, Davos starts dying laughing. All right, so I definitely wanted to use glitter headers, and I found these gorgeous ones from Pink Polka Dot Lily. And this color, I think, matches really nice with the crimson in the kit, so I'm going to use that. So, you know, they're talking, and then Jaime says, you don't have to be a king. He's up, he's getting wine or something, and he's like, you don't have to be a king tonight to make someone a knight. He goes, you have to be a knight to make, or you don't have to be a king. You can be a knight and make someone knight. And she just kind of looks, and everybody's just kind of quiet, and he goes to the middle of the room, he takes out his sword, and he says, kneel, Lady Brienne. And she just kind of looks at him, and then she looks at Pod, and Pod kind of nods a little bit, and he goes, do you want to be a, Jaime says, do you want to be a knight or not? He said, kneel. And she looks at him, and she gets up. Tyrion gets up, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I start tearing up right away. She starts tearing up right away. And then, you know, he does, like, you know, in the name of the mother, this something, in the name of the god, this something. And he goes, rise, Sir Brienne of Tarth, something. I was like, holy Lord Almighty. And that was just a beautiful thing to see, like, so beautiful. And then, you know, Tormund starts clapping for her, and Tyrion's like, you know, to Sir Brienne, and they start clapping. I was like, oh Lord, the tears. I was like, yes, girl. And that was just an amazing scene. So throughout the episode, they had all these little side round tables, if you will, because at one point, like on the top of like a, you know, where you're going to stand to battle, you've got the Hound, Arya, and Beric Dondarrion talking, and she gets up pretty quickly, and he's like, where are you going? You know, the Hound asks her where she's going. She goes, this might be my last night on Earth. I'm not gonna spend my last hours with you two old shits. I was dying laughing. So she goes down. Then the next scene here, she is downstairs. I say downstairs in the crypt or something. She's shooting arrows. She's just practicing and stuff like that. Let me see what I want to do for work. I wanted to bring in flags instead of, because I'm off on Wednesday this week. My son has a dentist appointment smack dab like in the middle of late morning. Oh no, early afternoon, but I had therapy, which I rescheduled. So, I mean, I could use these, which I normally do, but I think I want to use, let me see what my work stickers are here. Just looking how big these are going to be, or how big they're going to look compared to, no, I think I like that. I think I want to use the flags because I haven't used the flag. So I think what I'm going to do is use this blue here across the way. So you see Arya basically, you know, target practicing with arrows, and Gendry is just kind of like in the, you know, like kind of on the side there, and he comes in and she sees him. And I'm sorry, I didn't say where these are from. These are from Clever Gal Crafts, and this is the Stella colorway. These are the drizzle dots, so that's what those are. These are glossy, but I don't mind. That's okay, even though the rest of the kit is matte. As you can see, I haven't used any, and I really want to get to using these. So he comes in, and they're talking, and she's like, he brings her weapon, and she's like, this'll do. And then she says, what did the Red Woman want with you? Remember, I don't know, several seasons back when Melisandre thought that he had king's blood because he's Robert Baratheon's bastard. And she said, he told her she wanted my blood. And she's like, your blood? And she said, why? And she goes, and he tells Arya that, you know, he didn't know until Melisandre told him. And she's like, oh boy. And he said, yeah, she tied me up and put leeches on me. And she interrupts him. She said, was that your first time? He goes, yeah, I've never had leeches on me. And she said, no, your first time with a woman. And then he's like, I wasn't with her. And she's like, you know, she asked him how many other women he's been with and that sort of thing. And he's like, you know, I don't know, I didn't keep count. And she's like, of course you did. And she's taking off her gloves while she's talking to him. And while she's doing that, I'm like, she about to jump his bones. Go ahead, Arya Stark. And so these work stickers are in hollow, as you can see, which are absolutely gorgeous, from Magic Prints Co. So I'm going to use these for every day except Wednesday. And so she says, this might be, of course, here we go again, this might be my last night, you know, living, and I want to know what it feels like before that happens, you know, before I die. And she just attacks him with a kiss, and they start kissing, and clothes start coming off, and her boobies show, and I'm like, oh God, Arya's growing up. And they get it on down in the hay. I was like, yes, get it, girl. And so my day off stickers, also by Magic Prints Co. I got to get some more of these in the hollow foil there, which is beautiful. So we're going to do that for Wednesday. And let me pick that back up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So working day off is done. And let's see. Okay, so I'm just looking at my calendar. I always write these things down. So I want to edit this video tomorrow. So let me put that down. So for that, I will use a quarter box, but I want to see what kind of quarter box, if one with color or one with like an outline and white. Just trying to see here. I know, picky, picky, picky. Yeah, so they get it on and I'm like, yes, girl, get that. So there is this scene with Grey Worm and Missandei. She comes across a couple of children and she says, hello. And they just kind of look at her and they just like, out of there. And so she's all sad and stuff, of course, and, you know, Grey Worm is behind her, so he comes to her, and he says, you know, when this is over, when, you know, our queen is sitting on the throne, we're not going to be wanted or accepted in this place. And she just kind of looks at him, and he says, oh, and I have some Happy Mail coming tomorrow, too, so I want to get that out. So he says to her, you know, is that what you want? Is that what you, no, not film, edit tomorrow. So we'll use edit. I don't know that I will upload tomorrow because, oh shoot, and I don't, actually I can use that one. Okay, so this also by Magic Prints Co. So you can see, very, very nice. I'm going to keep that out because I'm going to need the film one. I'm going to edit it tomorrow, but I'm not going to upload it tomorrow because I'm putting one up tonight, so probably Tuesday. So I'm actually just going to grab another one of those quarter boxes and just kind of following the header colors there, since I want to upload that. And if you can hear that kind of woo 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 woo, that's the dryer. One of the doggies unfortunately vomited in the bed, and I had to wash everything, but I had to also go out today, so it was a disaster. All right, so for uploading, I do have the sheet from Sweet Bella XoXo, and I love the coloration of it, so I want to use this play button for YouTube, and that'll be for my upload. All right, so there's that. Keep that around. And then what else for Tuesday? Work and upload. I want to see what we have for... Okay, so tomorrow, since I just got HBO for Game of Thrones, I just noticed that there's a shit ton of movies that I really want to watch. So tomorrow I do want to watch a movie. And we're going to go with The Little Things in the third box here. And I'm like, oh man, tonight I'm not. I could, but I'm not going to do it because I'm like a glutton for punishment when it comes to that. I'm like, you're not going to do that to yourself. So let's see. So we'll use one of these. I'll just take this one here. And so I will watch a movie tomorrow after I edit the video. All right, so there's that. And then Tuesday, I want to journal. So we're going to do The Little Things in blue. I'm going to try to follow that color scheme vertically as much as I can between each day. Maybe. There we go. All right, so there we go. And what did I say? Journal. So I already used the blue one. Oh, so we'll just use this. So Grey Worm and Miss Sandy are talking, and he says, you know, where would you like to go? And I knew it too. So he was talking to her, and he goes, I will fight for my queen until, you know, when her enemies are dead. Wherever you want to go, he's asking Miss Sandy. And I forget, I couldn't really hear what she said, but I think it was her homeland. Because remember, she was sold into slavery as a young girl. And she says, I want to see the beaches again. And he says to her, you know, like basically that's where we'll go. And she goes, but my people are peaceful. We could not defend ourselves, or we don't defend ourselves. And he said, well, my people are warriors, and we will protect you, or we'll defend you, which means he's going to take all his Unsullied and get the hell out of Dodge. From what I understood, I mean, that's really how I understood it. I'm just looking to see if I have like a TV or book thing here. Let's see. Yeah, printer, nope, cake, nope. Ooh, I've got the movie tickets too. Yeah. All right, so we're going to use this one. These are foiled heart icons from my newest addiction, and they are almost like a silver glitter hollow foil, and these are really pretty. So I'm going to use the book for journaling on Tuesday. And let's see if I have a movie thing. Ah, television. There we go. So I just will keep that the same since they're right next to each other. And there's that. Okay, so Wednesday, day off. And like I said, my son has a dentist appointment. I need to film the makeup look that I still haven't filmed for the first week of Game of Thrones. So we're actually going to talk about both weeks in that video. Because it's just, again, time just caught up with me. It's the makeup videos are, you know, they take much longer to film and edit and all that stuff. So, but it is coming. So I do want to do that on Wednesday. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to actually use a half box for that. So let's see, what are we on? That's this one right here. So again, I just want to kind of keep in the same coloration. So, but this I want to keep. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then let's see what I have. Okay, so, all right, so I have film, like I said, from Magic Prince Co. So we're going to use that. Is that crooked? I think that's crooked, and it's going to drive me bananas. A little bit bananas. So, let's see. I think, too, I'm just going to pull this out of view for just a minute. I think that's a lot what has to do with it, because I'm trying to keep it under the camera's view, but I'm also trying to line it up with my eye, and I think it's a little hard to do that unless it's right in my face. So there that is. We're going to go back onto this film and edit sticker sheet from Magic Prince Co. And we'll put the film down there. So that works very good. And I think I'm going to keep that out for just a moment. And then we've got my son's dentist appointment. Where are my headers? Here we go. So let's see. So I think I'm going to do a to-do. Right? Yeah. To go. I wonder if I could use that one. Let's see what else I have. Goals cleaned today. And we'll just do to-do. I'm trying to keep the colors the same down the line. So, you know, particular. When Grey Worm was telling her, like I said, when he said, I'll fight for her until her enemies are dead, I was like, oh man, he's like, that's it. So it just, I think a lot of things, not that that's necessarily falling apart, but already, you know, her main soldier is like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm in love and I want to go with her. Wherever she wants to go, I want to go. And that's, you know, again, I think that that's very telling as to what's going to happen there. So I'm going to take the quarter box. I don't much like using these because of these little flag things, but whatever. All right, so I'm going to use that one there. And try to get it even for my son's dental appointment. Let me see if I have, which I don't think this really has deco or anything, which is fine, no big deal. I'm going to see if I have anything to use in these things that I have here. If I have a tooth, I do have a tooth. Look at me go. Go ahead, my newest addiction. All right, so there's that for the dental appointment for my son. Okay, and then what else on Wednesday? I'm going to visit my grandmother. She just recently broke her hip. She had surgery, so now she's in a like a rehab home. So I was supposed to visit her today, but time got away from me, so I told her I'd come on Wednesday. So we're definitely going to do that for Wednesday. And then I am going to use a quarter box, not a quarter box, I'm sorry, a half box. So we'll do that. I'm going to pull this away from you again, sorry. I just want to make sure that this is even. So I'm going to put it down a little lower. Just make sure that that's even across. So we're using that half box there. And on the same sheet, we have a doctor's stethoscope. So I'm just going to put that down there. Let's see. No, I'm just going to put it down there. I don't mind that it goes into the washi. I just like the consistency of those little icons right there. And I do have to show you the, I took it out, but I do have to grab the washi that I'm going to use for the sidebar. So Thursday is pretty boring. Nothing big going on there. But what I'll probably do Thursday, because it's going to be kind of a boring day, is I'm going to watch another movie. So let's do Little Things. For that down here. All right, so let's see. I'm looking at my notes to see what else is going on here with. Okay, the return of Ghost. Damn it, the wolf is back. It wasn't big. It was just a little hint, but he was freaking there. So John and Sam were, I don't know what the hell, balcony. I'm just going to say balcony. They were up there talking. And then the other guy, which I really should know the other guy's name, from the wall, that was with John when John came back to life, and he was with him when they said, open the gate, and Sansa and Brienne had come in. Him, the guy that told, let's do that again, 3, 2, 1. The guy that screamed at Tormund, or the guys, he was like, be careful, he has blue eyes, and he's like, I've always had blue eyes. So they're up there talking. Well, John and Sam first, and Ghost is right behind it, and I'm like, yes, fracking hell, yes. So it was just that little thing, but I'm like, I know he's got to come to his aid at some point before the series ends. So Ghost is back, and then where they're all three talking up there, John tells Sam, you know, if he'd like to go down to the crypt with Gilly and little Sam, and he kind of looks at him like, what? And he's like, to protect them. And he's like, you know, you guys forget that I'm the only one here who's actually killed a White Walker, or the first one to kill a White Walker. And, you know, he starts kind of naming some things he's done and protecting Gilly, and found some things out at the Citadel. And, you know, so they're kind of making fun back and forth and bantering. But he comes down from the top, and he sees Lyanna Mormont talking to Jorah, who is her cousin. If you remember, Jorah's father was the original Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and he died. And before, remember that John tried to give Longclaw, I believe it was, back to Jorah, who was, you know, that was his father's sword. He said, no, no, you keep it. And so Sam came down, and he was talking to Jorah. Well, first of all, Lyanna was like laying the smack down. She's like, look, let me tell you something. She's like, I'm going to fight. I'm not going to be sitting in the crypt just, you know, doing nothing when everybody else is fighting for me. And he's trying to tell her, we're going to use the television again here. We're just going to keep rolling with these stickers because they're working very, very well for this spread. And, you know, she's like, no, and they're back and forth, and she's like, he's like, okay, because he can't say anything to her. I mean, she's basically in charge of her people. And then, you know, she turns around and Sam's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. She's like, it's all right. She says, we're done here. I was like, yes, girl. I need her to live, though. I need Lyanna Mormont to live. So Sam is talking with Jorah, and he gives him the sword that he has, and it's Valyrian steel. And Jorah's like, no, and he said, no, you know, this is the right thing to do, and this is what's supposed to happen. He says, you take this. So they show everybody still around the circle in the fire, Tyrion and all them, and, you know, somebody said, let's go get some, oh, I gotta go back to Monday, sorry, I'm getting Happy Meal tomorrow. And so somebody says, like, you know, let's turn in, and Tyrion's like, no, let's stay a little while longer. And they're like, the wine's gone. So he asked somebody to sing. Podrick starts singing very beautifully. And that's where all of, they're showing different sceneries. It's a beautiful song. And that's when Grey Worm is getting ready to go into battle, and he kisses Miss Sandy. He gets in line. You see Jorah with all of his armor on his horse, and he's getting in line. And you see Sam laying with Gilly and baby Sam down in the crypt. So he did go down there with them. And, they're just showing these little things like people getting ready and whatnot. And then finally at the end of the song, you see Jon down in the crypt in front of Lyanna's monument, basically. And Dany comes in, and he sees her, and she puts his arm, she links her arm through his and says, "Who's that?" And he says, "That's Lyanna Stark." And she kind of like, like, okay, but who is she? And he says, oh no, then she goes, "My brother Rhaegar." She says, "Everyone told me what a good person he was. He gave to poor children. He loved to sing. And he raped her." And he said, "No, she didn't. No, he didn't." And he says he loved her. And then he says, now this, these little envelopes, which are silver foiled, they're so, so beautiful, from Paper Blush Bar. So we're going to use that for my Happy Mail. And there we go. And then, he tells her, he says, no, he didn't. They loved each other. They got married in a secret thing. She had a baby. And I'm like, oh, damn, here, we're going to, okay, we're going to do this. Let's do this. So he says, she was afraid that Robert would kill the baby. And you could tell her eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And he says, she made her brother, Ned Stark, promise to take care of the baby as his bastard. And she said, my real name is, he said to her, my real name is Aegon Targaryen. Her eyes were like saucers. And then she says, but that, and this is the first thing she says, and that's why I'm really of the mind that this is not going to go well for anybody. She says, but that would make you the last living male heir. That would make you, basically heir to the throne. And you can tell in his face, this is not a little thing. So what are we doing here with this? Because this is going to be a big deal. I'm going to see Avengers Endgame on Friday, so I don't want to put little things. It's important, damn it. And you can tell in his face, in his eyes, that he almost wanted to ask her, is there a problem with that? Does that bother you? But she was really angry, because then she's like, well, who told you this? He said, well, Bran and, Sam confirmed it. And she's like, your brother and your best friend. And you believe that? And I'm like, oh, girl, no. Don't do that. Don't do that, girl. And so then they hear the horns, and they go up. Now, this is towards the end, because I'm probably going to back up just a bit, talking about everything, because like I said, I'm kind of not necessarily going in order here. And they hear the horns and stuff like that. And then, so everybody's kind of like, you see the dead horse hoof come down, and you see all the soldiers and stuff, and they see Winterfell. And I'm just like, holy shit, here we freaking go. But then Jon kind of gives Dany a nod, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're going to the dragons. And then they just the camera kind of pans out, and then you see Tyrion, and that's where it ends. So next week, when they showed the the previews for next week, and this one is this sticker sheet. I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, sorry. This sticker sheet is from Paper Blush Bar. These are the blush stroke icons in hollow, as you can see there. I not only have popcorn, but I also have movie tickets, so I think I'm going to use them both, because this is a very, very special night with Avengers Endgame. So between that, Game of Thrones, and Avengers, it's a fabulous week to be a nerd. I swear, it's just wonderful to be alive. So there's that for Friday. So then the previews for next week, of course, were the battle, and you just see different snippets of Jon, of Jorah, of Dany, of people screaming, the dragon. It's everywhere. Arya, Sansa. Just everywhere. And so the big battle is obviously there. It is upon them, but they don't give you anything. That you just know that there's battle, and people, here and there, and swords, and people sweaty and stuff. And it's just like, boy, we are here. Like, this is it. And it is it. So I suspect that the week after, I think next week now it's an hour and 20 minutes. And I would suspect that that's going to be the whole battle. If not, perhaps maybe the last half an hour or 20 minutes would be who's dead, who's still alive, kind of reconvening and coming back together, because I suspect that the 4th episode they're going to be in King's Landing or start that trek. My suspicion is that this series is going to end in King's Landing, because we only have 6 more episodes, and I know that they're longer, but that's what we're... I mean, the dead is one thing, but a lot of people have theorized that perhaps the Night King, even though he's coming directly after Bran Stark, is sending other of his soldiers to King's Landing. So I suspect that they're going to have to fight there in Winterfell and also in King's Landing, but that it's going to end there with the Iron Throne situation. I mean, that's the way it's got to end. That's the way it kind of started in a way. But some of the stuff that I was thinking about as you know, the episode is going on. Let me just see what I want to do here. So I do unfortunately have to go and work on Saturday because I'm leaving early Friday and I am not working on Wednesday. So let me mark that. Actually, we'll just use the last flag because we do have to work. I always say I try to get to work early on the weekends, and it never works out because you get up and you're like, oh, I have all day. You know how that goes, but we'll see. And I'm going to be gone late Friday, so I may sleep on, even if I sleep in an extra 2 hours. I mean, I usually get up at 6:30, so it's no big deal. All right, so we're going to work on Saturday. And then I do want to clean like I always do on Saturdays. That's my cleaning day. That's my favorite day to clean because I'm home. All right, so let's see here. Do I want to cut one of these? No. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this other sheet from Paper Blush Bar. This is like a mini sheet, so this is really used for like monthlies because everything's really super tiny. So I want to take the 2 bow checklist there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that because it's really, really tiny. And I do want to put that down there. Actually, you know what? Do I have it to clean here? Because I'll do that. Yeah, I know. I'm all over the place. To clean? Yay! We'll do that. So what I'm seeing, a couple of the things. Oh, Jesus. See, I forgot a couple of big things. So at one point, Dany's telling Tyrion, you know, I trusted you, and you're screwing up left and right. She goes, if you can't give me my throne as hand, I will find someone else to do it. So I'm like, damn, girl, simmer down now. But she's like, everybody's going to get some. So he tells Jorah and Varys, well, I suspect one of you will be wearing like his hand of his pin, hand of the queen soon. And so Jorah goes in and speaks with her and says, you know, I understand he took my job. I was angry and jealous that you gave him the hand of the queen. But he's intelligent and he owns his mistakes and he learns from them. And she's like, are you sticking up for the man who stole your job? And he said, absolutely. And so he said, there's something else I want you to do. So then the scene changes and there is Sansa in a room talking with, I forget who's in charge of the Vale, but he's the older gentleman that's always with her. He's like really always with her. And so, you know, she comes in and she says, you know, Lady Sansa, might we have a word in private? What killed me was that the man turned to Sansa. He didn't just leave. He looked at Sansa and Sansa nodded. And then he walked away and he, you know, he bowed in front of Dany, but he did not say my grace to her. And she kind of looked after him and I'm like, wah, wah, wah. That's what you get. So she sits, you know, they're talking and she says, something about Tyrion, and then Sansa says, you know, Tyrion's a good man. He never treated me with anything but respect. And, you know, she says, Daenerys says Tyrion never should have trusted his sister. And Sansa tells her, well, neither should you. And so she, you know, kind of motions for Sansa to sit down, and they sit down and she says, you know, both of us are ruling women in a way. We both have ruled people. Oh, let me grab this while I'm yakking. My newest addiction, the Thrones, y'all. Remember those stickers for, you know, each episode. So season 8, episode 3, we're just going to pop that right down here, right at the bottom, because that's the last thing. Actually, you know what? It's not the last thing I'm going to do. So I think what I'll do is I'll put this, hold on a second. And it's not little things either, because Game of Thrones is not a little thing. So we'll do today. We'll just do a little thing. I like my today headers for other things. so she's telling her, you know, we both know what it's like to rule people, or, you know, rule over a large group of people, and knowing that not everybody gets on board with female rulers and that. So they're talking, and, you know, she says, you know, basically Dany says that Sansa has a problem with her because of her brother. And he says, and she tells her, I know he's in love with you, and men do stupid things for women. And, you know, they're easily whatever. And so Daenerys actually says something that's really nice, and it caught me after, which it made them both smile. And she says, here I am, a world away from my throne, helping your brother. Because remember, he asked for her help with the White Walkers. And then she said, who wrangled who? And, you know, they both kind of smile at that. I'm going to take this out of your range just again to do this half box here for filming after the show. And she said, you know, basically like, who wrangled who? And she's like, touche, got it. And so they're talking and whatever. And she says, I'm here because I love your brother. And, you know, I trust him and all that. And then Sansa asks her, what about the North? And she also says, I should have thanked you when you first got here, and that was my mistake. Because she knows that with Dany, you know, they needed Dany to defeat the dead. And she says, what about the North? And what about it? She goes, well, when we named the first king in the North, she said the North said they would never, ever kneel to anyone again. What about the North? And Dany had her hand on top of Sansa's hand, and she took it off real quick. And then somebody said, my grace, or I'm sorry to interrupt, my lady. And so they went to the great room, and Theon's there with the people that he brought. And she's like, your sister. And he's like, you know, she doesn't have a lot of ships, but she sailed home, and you know, to do what she could. And, you know, Dany seems very happy with that. That obviously that she's alive. Is this going to be seen through there? I don't care. And so, and then she says, well, what are you doing here? And then all of a sudden he looks at Sansa, and I'm like, dude. And he says, I want to fight for the North in your name, if you'll allow me, or if you'll have me. And she was already tearing up. She ran to him and hugged him. And you can tell in Dany's face, she was like, the F with this shit. Everybody is looking to Sansa. If you remember Cersei's prophecy by, what is it, Maggie the Frog or whatever it was, she told her, you will be queen, but then comes another queen, more younger, more beautiful, to cast you down. Now, it may be, it may not be. How it may be, I have no idea. But a lot of people theorize that this could be Sansa and not Dany. Now, since Jon is the heir to the throne, you know, rightfully so, his parents were married and that sort of thing, Dany's not going to be queen. And not that Sansa's a queen, but for all intents and purposes, she's queen of the North. You know, let's say Jon either dies or gets on the throne. They're going to need a warden of the North, but perhaps they'll name her queen of the North. So I'm thinking that Sansa is the younger, more beautiful queen. I don't think it's Dany anymore. She's noticing that everybody's looking to Sansa. Is that a dangerous thing for Sansa? Abso-freaking-lutely. Very, very much so. So what I'm going to do on Saturdays, I'm actually going to put, actually, let me see. All right, let's do the sidebar. Let's do the sidebar. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let me grab the washi tape that I'm going to use, and then we'll be back. So the washi tape that I'm using is this thin 5mm dark gray washi. It was part of a neutral set with hollow bows. You're probably not going to be able to see it if this camera decides to focus, because there's so much back there, but that's what it looks like right there. So that's what we're going to use. So I should be able, well, maybe not, because this is a really long box, but if I can't get next week here, I'll do it on Saturday, because there's nothing else Saturday that I'm going to be doing that evening, so I can do that. So let me just put this down. We'll keep going with that. Yeah, so there was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of hints to different things, like the fact that everybody's at Winterfell. That was said so many times. And one thing that my sister brought up as we were talking, which is really true, and I think I've said this before here, that it's really the Stark story to tell. Everybody thought, you know, or most of us, I think, were led to believe that it perhaps was a Targaryen story because she was, you know, making such a long trek to reclaim the throne, but I don't think so, and I haven't thought so for quite some time. So, you know, everybody's talking about that. So my sister said, well, it started with the Starks, you know, basically it started with them, and she believes it's going to end with them. And again, although I think it's going to end at King's Landing as far as location, the Starks are going to feature heavily in that situation, so we'll see how that works. So let me just grab one of the Sidebar weeklies for dinners. I think I may have to do next week on Saturday, again, just because this is basically a double box there. So that's one thing that I'm kind of thinking about with the Starks being, you know, Game of Thrones was always about them. And then again, now with the Sansa situation, you know, is it foreshadowing perhaps that she's going to die? And I hope not, because Dany is threatened by her. Or is it, why is this so off kilter? It's driving me nuts. It's going to have to be, and that's what I don't like, because it's going to have to be. That's what it's going to have to be. Which, again, I don't want that to happen for her to die. Or is it foreshadowing that she is going to be, you know, last man standing, quote unquote, because of, you know, just because it is. One thing I was also talking to some friends about earlier, and my sister as well, we're always constantly talking Game of Thrones, and one thing she said, which is very interesting, and a friend of mine kind of came up with her thing to that, and I was like, oh my God, it's so true. So my sister said, well, you know, a lot of people are saying, what if nobody lives? What if nobody survives? So my thing was, what if after the Night King and his minions, you know, everybody's thinking, oh, Cersei's going to be the next big thing. Shit, I forgot to put more washi there. Can I pull this off? I'm not going to bother. And which is all, you know, obviously well and good, but what if the big thing after the White Walkers is not Cersei, but Dany? Let's say she truly turns against Jon and says, you know, I'm not giving up my throne. Screw all y'all people. This is my throne. And people have to really fight her. And I'm like, if she wants to, right now, she can turn against everybody and fry everybody's ass into Kingdom Come, which is true. She has her dragons. I mean, who else the hell else has had dragons, right? I mean, you know, recently. And my sister said, you know, one outcome that could be is maybe she'll get her throne, but at the expense of literally everybody else. And I'm like, holy shit, that's not half bad. And that's not out of the realm of possibility that she gets her throne, but perhaps, and then I kind of added to that. My other friend said Queen of Ashes, because remember they said you don't want to be the Queen of Ashes, which is true. And then another thing I had thought about was that, remember that her father, the Mad King Aerys, kept saying, burn them all, burn them all, burn them all. What if that comes true with her, even though it didn't come true with her father? And I'm just like, there's just too many possibilities for anything to happen at this point, just because, you know, it is like they're giving some stuff away and they're setting some stuff up, and you can see people's, you know, attitudes and things and what they may be thinking. But overall, I'm none the wiser. They're not really giving a lot away, which I think is amazing, because I don't obviously want them to give a lot away. And so I think that that's really great that they're giving you just enough to, you know, obviously be sated when it comes to, you know, previews, but they're not giving anything away to say, oh man, I didn't want to see that, or damn it, why did they show that? They're giving nothing away. They're not telling you anything, which I think is amazing. Also, just a disclaimer for anybody watching, be careful, because today I heard on social media, or somehow somebody or multiple people leaked tonight's episode. So just be kind of conscious of that as you're going through social media for the next several weeks. Assholes are just leaking everything, those dicks, and they're just being just jerks upon jerks. So I think what I want to do just for the bottom here is I want to put one of the little hydrate things, because I can do that for the day, each day, you know what I mean? Because there are 7 there, and I can just do one for each day. And when I've drank my 8 glasses of water, I can fill in a little drop there. So that helps to kind of, so you can see there. And you'll see a bigger picture of everything when I'm done. So Sunday, what did I say? I was going to sleep late and then work, clean. I think what I'm going to do is edit the makeup video on Sunday and try to get it up on Sunday before the Game of Thrones. So that's what I'm going to strive for, to do that. So let's put down a half box. I'm going to get this out of your line of view again. Sorry about that. Just so that I can evenly place this box down. And there we go. And then we're going to upload. So I'm going to grab that. What did I say? Yeah, we're going to edit and upload, but I'm just going to upload. So I'm going to grab that sheet again by Sweet Bella XoXo, and I'm going to take the play button, the maroon one, and put that down there so that I know to upload the makeup video on Sunday. Okay, so I think that that does it as far as putting everything down. And then I just need to write everything in, so I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll be back for us to finish up. So I'm back and everything has been written in. Everything looks great. I think the kit was really good, very comprehensive, very complete, and I love those little touches of foil, hollow, and silver as well. So just very, very nice. I love this whole sticker kit. The paper is not, it's a soft matte, but it's not a unicorn matte. I know I didn't say that earlier, but it is a soft matte. It is a thinner type of sticker paper, as evidenced here on Sunday where I ripped that by mistake. I don't know that that's ever happened to me, but overall the kit is really great. I love it, and I love the spread. I also added these 2 quotes here. This comes from a sticker sheet from Paper Planning by Lexi. She's on Etsy. I will link everything down below. And if her shop is still open, which I believe it still is, I will definitely link it. So you'll have everything down in the description bar like I always do. So this week has been amazing. The episode was amazing. I hope you enjoyed talking through it or listening to it. Any ideas, any theories, any conjecture, anything, please leave it down in the comment bar below. Any questions as well about the show? I definitely want to interact with the public on this, because if you are a hardcore fan like me, you know that this show has to be talked about and talked over and over again. But there you have it. That's this week's spread, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, whatever it is that you're doing this week, I hope it's a good week. Whatever you need to come to fruition, I hope it happens for you. I hope it's a positive one, peaceful one, and a quiet one. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and also click that little bell so you get alerted as to whenever I upload new content. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.